all right. All right, all right. You guys may be wondering, why is Jay holding a stopwatch and telling us the next segment's going to be 7 minutes and it was really 8 minutes, like 20-something seconds? So, Tech Squad just put me on a wrap it up B. So when you hear that nice violin music in the background, we're about to reset. We're on a 2-minute countdown timer, all right? So I have taken control of your screen. This is not a typo? I don't know. I was going to say typo. I didn't have anything for it. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm taking over your screen, all right? So look, just deal with it. Bam. Screen recording not available when AirPlay. Oh, I guess I'm not recording the screen, guys. Wah, wah. Yo, David, you recording that screen? All right, cool. Who's this David? David is the student liaison, right? Because like in moments like this, when I'm sitting here, what do you think? I'm looking at the live stream, wondering what you guys are tweeting me in questions. I don't care what your questions are. I got a time limit. Do you see what they made me do? Look, 1 minute and 9 seconds. I haven't made any relevant progress. So look, let's get into this website, all right? So if you're in the top of the website and we pop this bad boy open right at the top, divisions and offices. Click that, please. You see that laundry list right there of how many different divisions? 15. That's this many times this many equals this many, right? 15 divisions and offices. Why do I keep bringing up that office thing? Why isn't it just divisions? Why is there a difference between divisions and offices? I'll get into that. That's in the next segment, not like in the next 7-minute segment that runs over to 9. I mean like in the next chapter we're going to go over, because right now everything is about my Florida CFO and his Department of Financial Services, all right? So if you look at the very top of that page, you see the divisions. What do we have here? This laundry list. The ones that are important to us are those top ones, right? Accounting, auditing, administration, customer service, funeral, cemetery, insurance agent and agency services. That's an important one. Investigative and forensic services. That's an important one. Rehabilitation and liquidation. I can promise you rehabilitation has nothing to do with having a meth problem, all right? This is something totally different. The rehabilitation actually has to do with insurance companies that are having financial issues, all right? I felt, you see that? That was my guilt. I felt the need to clarify that after dropping a meth joke on you about 17 minutes into the class. Anyway, state fire marshal. I thought we were talking about the chief financial officer. All right. Well, some of you guys, I know I got a couple of millennials in the crowd, right? So you may not be familiar with In Living Color. Way back in the days. This is when we could make fun of anything, right? They had this show on there called The Headleys, and Damon Wayans had like 10 different jobs, right? My Florida CFO, Jimmy Petronas, has like 10 different jobs. And that's what you're going to see right here under these divisions. Those are technically all his jobs, because we're talking about the business of insurance, but you can see right there that the fire marshal is actually his responsibility also, because anytime something burns, property was destroyed, property has a value, and most of the time that value is insured by an insurance company, and he's responsible for that industry, right? Now, let me ask you a question. If the CFO's Department of Financial Services was investigating a fire and suspected arson, do you think it would be safe to send an investigator to go look for a criminal and ask them questions about the crime if they weren't packing heat? Department of Financial Services, freeze! Law enforcement, real law enforcement. Why? Didn't I tell you? They deal with the Florida man. We never know what Florida man is going to do, right? So if the Department of Financial Services was to go ahead and get a complaint, because they do handle all of these things here, if they were to get a complaint, and that complaint was actually something that led to a violation, because there's a lot of things that are just flat out illegal, that would move to the Division of Investigative and Forensic Services right there. Okay, that's a real easy one to remember, because they're going to give you on the test a whole bunch of nonsense when they talk about law enforcement. And that might be how they phrase that question. You know, the Department of Financial Services investigators are, just remember, they're sworn law enforcement. They can detain you if they witness you doing something wrong, just like a police officer. Now, it's not really how they get down. And mind you, I did just say if they witness you, could they still, like if they came, if they witness you in the act, could they arrest you right there? Yes, they could. That's really not how it works. The department typically is going to go ahead and do an investigation and then pass that off to local law enforcement, and they're going to wind up doing the arrest there. All right. Now look, if we go, let's back up right here. So that's at the very top. All right. So now let's just move off of those divisions and offices. And remember, I need you guys to ask me later on, Jay, what's up with the offices, right? Because CFO, in the department, there's actually only divisions in the department. The offices are something completely different. Woo, it's like a cliffhanger, right? And I'll tell you the rest of it next week. Anyway, if we scroll down a little bit right here, you see that? Florida Department of Financial Services, how can we help you? Probably the most important thing on this page is this right here. Verify an agent's license. There is a huge resource that is verified before you buy. It's also verified before you sell. The Department of Financial Services is here for us. What does verify mean? Well, if you were to go ahead and click that button right there, what it's going to do is going to take you to a directory page where you get to put in your agent's full name and the information that you have on your agent, and it'll actually go to it's with the Department of Financial Services, but it allows you to check the credentials of the agent that you're working with. So if your agent doesn't show up here, it could be a problem. Now, the reason that that's super important is because I made that point about, what if you were paying somebody for your auto policy? Well, now let's really talk about the important stuff, your health. Forget about the car. Oh. Yeah, these guys got jokes. Seriously. You guys got jokes. Anyway, so the reason that it's so important for you to verify the agents that you're working with is because what if that agent showed up with very credible paperwork and all the presentations, and they actually had insurance agent clothes on and didn't show up looking like somebody trying to jack your identity, right? This is where you would be able to check with that. It's also where you can check on the Department of Financial Services, your contractors. That's really important too, because contracting fraud is a big deal. You'll see here at the bottom these big tabs that they have, Prepare Florida. That whole entire resource is dedicated to helping people after a storm, because after storms, we hear about all the contractor fraud. And so that's what this page here is for. You see the fire standards. That's because the chief financial officer is the fire marshal. Fraud-Free Florida, once again, another consumer resource designed to help you navigate all the nonsense. That way you can easily find what is authorized and what is safe to conduct business with and who isn't. All right. The unclaimed property here is kind of interesting because the chief financial officer just keep focusing in on that word financial. All right. Now, what type of unclaimed property are we talking about? Well, often we're talking about life insurance benefits. It was a couple of years ago. It wasn't Jimmy Petronis. It was actually Jeff Atwater or something like that. One of the other old CFOs. It's not like we're going to be testing on who was the old CFO. No one cares. We don't even know what he's doing, to be honest with you. Sorry, dude. So it is slinging Nathan's hot dogs on. I'm just kidding. That's not true. That's not true. I actually had a Nathan's hot dog today with a little bit of sauerkraut. So I guess that's why, word association. What's Jeff Atwater doing slinging hot dogs? Never mind. I don't know where we're going with that. But the unclaimed property comes from, all right, let's talk about health insurance, disability income. So, well, I know it's not life insurance, but what about accidental death and dismemberment? That happens, and that's something that we're going to discuss in this class. So if, I had a policy that paid out a death benefit, and let's just say it was me, and the person that was the beneficiary wasn't so obvious. It wasn't Kelly in the other room. It wasn't somebody right there. Maybe it was somebody that, it's a family member or something along those lines. What the state of Florida identified is that these insurance companies were spending all of this effort to find when people they owed payments died. They wanted to find out when the person they owed money to died so they can stop paying them. They were spending all their time focused on that, and they spent zero efforts trying to find the people who were owed the money after someone passed away and left the death benefit. And so unclaimed property is where they took all of that money away from the insurance companies, and now that money is registered with the state of Florida. So if you go ahead and you were to click on unclaimed property, this is so cool because you can start your search. I've actually jumped in here and I've gotten a couple of $100s back. One of my favorite returns was about 50 something dollars that came from, I guess, a deposit that I paid on some, a college girlfriend's apartment or something. I didn't even recognize the address, but it was like I would have totally forgot. Well, apparently power companies are part of this as well, because I also, that same $56 that I got there, I got another one from Gainesville for $110 that I never got back from Duke Energy. Dude, I'm like almost 108 years old. You know when the last time I was in college was? I can't believe that my money was there for so long. I'm like over here like Abraham Lincoln and whatnot. 7 years ago, I put a deposit down on something, and good old Jimmy Petronas remembered it for me and cataloged it for me. So anyway, my treasure hunt. Go there. Check it out. It's a really easy way for you to understand what the resource is. Put your information in there. See if there's any money waiting for you. And I want to know about it, all right? So if you go ahead and you type that in, yo, Jay, I got money. Finder's fee. 25%. That's standard. I'm going to let you off the hook because you bought this class, right? And if you didn't buy this class, stop freeloading already. You know the other class is busted. You see how we're going to communicate? This is communication. We could almost be friends. When was the last time you sat in front of an instructor and thought like, yo, I'd get a beer with that dude? Hell to the nizza. Anyway, hell no to the no. Hell no. What that means is I got to go because tech is telling me, yo, Jay, how you going to drag this thing out to like 11 to 12 minutes? We put on the Gong Show on you like 5 minutes ago. So when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Department of Financial Services, young man and young ladies.